All right, we're back with episode 52 of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. As always, it's Banks and Devilwalk ready to rock it and talk all things Counter-Strike because that's all we do on this podcast. And there's a lot of Counter-Strike to talk about. There's a lot of stuff happening. So let me do the normal. As of right now, it is the 27th of February. It is 7:12 in the evening for me here in Lisbon, Portugal. And for Sweden, for Devilwalk, that means it is 8:12 in the evening. Darkness wherever we are right now, that's for sure. But brightness in terms of Counter-Strike and everything that's going on. How are you feeling, mate? Are you actually recovering at all yet? Have you started to play some more CS? I know you played a show match.
Yeah, did play a show match. I have been playing a little bit. Like, I'm still on the 2-3 games every day, not more.
You're still recovering.
Yeah. Playing some of this. I don't know if a lot of people have played this. It's called Mugenics.
Oh, no, you're not on that.
I am on that.
Richard was telling us about this. Richard was telling about this during the green room.
Yeah.
It sounds pure, like, insanity.
Yeah.
It wasn't cats. This would not be a legal game. Just beat Hitler. Well, that's a good thing. Is it Hitler as a cat or is it actual Hitler?
I think it's more actual Hitler. And he has this...
I'm just worried right now. It's 2 minutes into the podcast. We've suddenly talked about some eugenics and Hitler in the beginning of the episode. YouTube's going to just knock this episode right down and say, what the hell are these crazy accounts I'm talking about? Oh, no.
At least I beat him.
Okay. Can you explain the concept for people that don't really know about the game? And tell me, why did you buy this game?
So... why I bought the game in the first place is because of the developers itself. I've played Binding of Isaac in the past. It's
good
also
game.
very good game. It's deep. It's very grotesque. It's raw.
Yep.
And I bought similar games from them, and I've always liked the experience that I've had with them. So I thought, this is kind of an RPG-esque take on their kind of world.
So basically, win developer to start off with.
Yeah, that's probably 90% of why I bought it. And then the RPG element is like the 10%. You're in a shitty house and breed cats, and they can be inbred and whatever, have the same parents, and then they develop mutations and, quirks and all that kind of stuff. And you take them on adventures.
I'm just looking at the screenshots and stuff. This is like, this is looking a bit wild, bro. This is looking way. This is fully wild.
They have a very dark humor vibe. So,
do you know what it reminds me of? Kind of like Happy Tree Friends.
Happy Tree Friends.
You remember that? Oh, bro, how do you not remember it? It's not a game. There's the cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah, the animated series. Just give me some of that crazy
it's
look
kind
to
of,
it all.
but with a dark-esque atmosphere added to it. Happy Tree Friends is kind of bright and happy.
Yeah, with all the death and destruction and the depression.
But other than that, I did the show match, which was... where can I even find this? Maybe I will.
Did you win?
Of course, we won.
Who did you play? Who was on your team?
So on my team, it was Get Right, Guardian, Shocks, Smiths, and me.
Okay. I didn't hear the names you said on the last one. I got the Guardian and then everything else was like, So tell me again.
Oh, really?
So I actually know.
Yeah. Smiths, Shocks, Guardian, and Get Right was my teammates.
Okay. That's a pretty good team. Of course you won. Who were you playing against? Unlucky for them.
We were playing Edward, Dosha.
Oh, yeah.
World Edit, Hooch.
Oh, poor Hooch, man.
I kind of want to go to my... Wait, I have to go to my matches. I don't want to mess up the last one.
Obviously not that relevant. How did you forget about this person? Terrible.
Matches, here.
Yep.
No, it's not there.
Well, this person was obviously irrelevant and you didn't like him, so...
No, I don't think that's it. But either way, it was... We won first map overtime. It was old school CS:GO maps
Nice.
in CS2.
Okay.
So we played like the old Inferno,
Yep.
um, very wonky, small banana, all that kind of good stuff. A lot of angles you forgot about. Nobody really knew any smokes. Kind of just threw them. Oh, okay. They knew smokes. They were practicing them beforehand. We could all see they had executes ready and everything.
They were taking it seriously.
Yeah, but we both
Yep.
were, to be fair. But our team in a very different. We were like, we have 2K, let's do French force buy. Like Tech
Yeah,
9's
yeah, yeah.
armor every single time we could. Then we played Cash and Cobble. We won the first two
Okay.
maps. I think Cobble we won like 13-2 or 3. And
Mm-hmm.
Cash was the last one we lost. So it became 2-1 in maps. But it was super fun. I had such a good time. The only thing was I had to like stream my webcam and have Discord on at the same time, and my CS was
Can't be
laggy.
cheating. Can't be cheating, Mr.
No,
Devilwalk. You
but
were part of Fnatic,
it was laggy. It was laggy.
but you still won. So that's a good sign. We need to
Yeah.
get you a PC upgrade. That's the next thing you need to be doing, man. You need to step it up into the world of CS2 PC. That is it. That's what we have to
Start
improve upon.
streaming.
Yeah, man. People want to see that. People need to see that. All right, so today's episode, what I need to make sure is clear to everyone watching, this really isn't going to be a long one because there's not much to talk about. But we are all about Counter-Strike. We can't just ignore EPL. We didn't cover EPL last time because the groups was not out. We didn't know who was going to be playing who, how the matches were going to work. So we're going to give you an EPL preview, a little bit on the news that's happened and stuff. There's only a couple of pieces really worth talking about. The first one we will talk about because we already touched on it a bit yesterday, or not yesterday, last episode. We're just finishing off the Passion UA conversation because we'd obviously already heard Try and Kvem coming in and then saying whether Grim would stay. Well, it is confirmed because Grim did play one event for him and then he's now on the bench. Grim's gone. We knew this was happening. He's supposed to be going to NRG to be back in America to obviously make life a little bit easier for him in terms of all of that. I think that's a very hard decision for him to make, especially when you see like this team finally gets upgrades where Senzu and Try can add a lot and like potentially do better for the team. It's sad that he would go, but I guess like you said about it last time, right? For Nyx, it would be better at playing that role so Grim doesn't have to give up so much the whole time and make room for these guys or for Senzu. Yeah.
And also seemed like I checked the clip with Daps when he kind of revealed in a talk show of some kind. I can't remember who specifically. We should shout them out. But either way, he was on there.
Okay.
And he was basically saying, like Grim kind of reached out and, it was obvious that he kind of doesn't want to live in EU. He has no problem, boot camping there and playing tournaments in EU.
He's done his whole career.
Yeah. But living
by the way,
in another continent is a completely different thing.
What you're saying, like this makes perfect sense because I don't think Grim and I'm not going to read out the exact conversations we were having in Twitter DMs, but like he was talking to me about like how we're doing road trips, how much he's traveling and how long he's going with it, and obviously the fact that my wife was pregnant at the time when we were doing the Budapest major, and he was just asking me like, how do you do all that, And I'm like, obviously it's hard, and I'm living in Europe. I'm not having to travel like he's doing, So I think he understands from a family perspective. How old is Grim now? Let me look at this. Let me have a quick look. Grim is 25, so he's still young, but I mean, it gets taxing on the body. It's taxing on relationships. It's taxing on family, and he's done it for a long time. So I don't blame him for the decision. Also, another thing, I'm not sure we touched on it last episode, but this is probably a huge win for Passion UA, who spent a lot of money on Try and Senzu, because I'm sure NRG would pay high value for Grim, because he's a massive upgrade for their team.
Yeah,
that's huge.
I don't think it's... Well, it is confirmed by Daps that George is the one leaving the room for him.
Yep.
So it is an upgrade. It's also, someone that they has the potential to pick up and kind of shoulder a little bit more of a star role as a rifler. We've seen that in the past. He's done it time and time again in this lineup. So I think it's exciting because NRG to me is it's a weirdly exciting team. I mean, they've kind of snuck under the radar to rank 17 in VRS, and I see a lot of promise in them. It seems like they're hardworking. They're really, really trying to make this work, and I think they have all the pieces. I mean, my biggest question mark for them was OC returning instead of
Yeah.
Exotic, and OC showed himself to be
Bro, he's
more than
actually back.
capable. Yeah, he's in really
Liquid
good form.
fumbled another AWPer.
Yeah.
a lot later in the years, but I mean, technically a fumble. Imagine if OC ends up being like I know it's on NRG, so it's very different in like the skill levels they're playing against each other and the regular events they're facing. But like if OC just starts completely farming, it's going to just continue to make this thing with Ultimate look worse for the Liquid side, right? That is going to be a problem they have to look at with open eyes. Next bit of news, we're looking at Imperial. Now, I'm just going to give you my take on this, yeah? Imperial sold Try. Makes sense, yeah? Try getting an opportunity to go somewhere else. Try had been on the team for a long time as far as I'm aware, right? Like if I look at Try and his career, he was acquired.
2 years.
Try had been there for 2 years, yeah? So probably, I'm guessing his contract was like soon to be up. So getting some money from him from Passion was like a good move. And for Try, this is epic because he can speak English. He's been a capable player we spoke about for a very long time. So this makes sense. But then Imperial then remove Skulls. Now, I love Skulls as a person, as a personality. When I talk to him in interviews, I got a lot of love for him and sitting with him, talking with him, very well spoken. But if you go back to when they removed a player, it was SHR. SHR, obviously, a Portuguese player. Yeah. He'd previously played on SAW, obviously had his successes there. Go back and look at how well SHR was playing for Imperial before Skulls joined the team. And the move at that time didn't make sense. Like the stats were so good for SHR. Imperial were doing well domestically. And I felt like that was a good chance for Imperial to build something with a team and move forward with it. I thought SHR was like this European play style, a little bit different. They can speak the same language. Like it's going to work out well. But then they saw, Skulls is available. Now, Vinny told me on an interview, I think it was at a Blast event, that like when Skulls is available, you have to take him. Now, I get it from the point where they're looking like at the experience. He's played on Liquid. He's played on Fury. You know, he's got a good career track record behind him. But they weren't thinking about the future, man. This was not a good move at the time. And now you've benched him. Yeah? Now he's gone already. For me, this is not positive.
I get your point, and I also get their point that they kind of have to pick him up if he's available because he has shown the potential that he has. Now, for Skulls, I kind of see him to be in that box of maybe where OC was, to take an example of NRG. He was actually quite bad, when they cut him. And sometimes players just need a little bit of a break from everything to recuperate, to get back into good shape, to have the motivation to keep grinding. Because it can be exhausting, especially when you get trust, you get kicked, you get replaced. Like it wears you down mentally. And with that you can't perform. And sometimes you just have to go on a face it grind and just get back into a confident state again. And I think that's where Skulls is at the moment. If you look at his kind of past teams, and he hasn't really had a break. He's kind of jumped from team to team pretty consistently.
From Pain days.
You go from Pain in November 2023, went straight to Liquid in December. Played 2024 July, straight to Furia, then straight again from Furia to Imperial. So I think that he's kind of in a fatigue period where he's just getting worse and worse because of that. And I think personally, we're going to see Skulls come back in maybe 6 months, like in a season's time, and do really, really well.
And I'll say this as well. everything why I said I like Scholes as a person, as like outside of the game, every player who's been a teammate of him, no one, zero people have said anything bad about him. Like, he'll do whatever the team needs. He'll play the roles. He'll throw the flashes, you know? He is the great teammate you need. But then I can agree with more of what you're saying, like maybe he needs that bit of time off. But I will say what's bad is like Payne improved when he left. Liquid didn't really improve when he left, but Fury improved when he left. I doubt him. Maybe Imperial will improve now he's gone from this. We'll talk about the Imperial moves in a bit, but I feel like he needs to also, like, I'm not looking at the numbers and stats because of his role and how he plays, but the Skulls that joined Furia at the beginning was great. When he joined Liquid was okay, but I need to see the Payne Skulls back to form. That's what I want to see. If I'm him, I want to look back on that and say, this is like the level I can be happy with. This is what I know I can do. Get me back to that position again. Because that's the one that was hyped and spoke about in a very positive light.
No, I completely agree with that. I think, yeah, I hope we see him back, and I believe we're going to see him back in that level. He just needs to, get some of that fatigue off him.
Yeah. I'm just looking at like...
I'm not sure Imperial is really improving. They lose try. I don't really know. It feels like they kind of have to just shift something together, and might be kind of the last dance for this core in the lineup.
Look at this as well, just a little bit more on Skulls. So first ever major of Payne, 1.01 rating, fine for his roles. Then with Furia, obviously first stage, they're fine, right? 1.30, that's kind of an anomaly. Then he's 1.05, then Imperial 0.99, then Imperial again 0.89. It's like progressively getting worse bit by bit. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I didn't think about like the whole taking some time away, but it makes sense. So then, by the way, SHR during all of this for Imperial, he's on the bench. You can just bring this dude back. But instead, they bring Levy in, a 21-year-old player from 9Z. And then it's reported by Dust2.Brazil that Decenti is potentially coming back, who's currently on Fluxo. So you're going to recycle a player that went for whatever reason. Now, Decenti, we'll all remember from the major. He's good. Individually, very sharp, yeah? No, I'm not going to question any of that. But you have SHR on a bench. Why are you not trying to make this work again? And Zach is a great coach. Like, Zach is another person who we only have positive things to say about it. But I just feel like they've missed a trick with bringing SHR back now, putting him into Skull's roles, and then bringing Levy in, for example.
To be fair, I don't really know that much about SHR. I mean, I've obviously seen him a little bit in the Saw days, but I mean, I look at the stats, he seems kind of inconsistent. Maybe that was part of the issue. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of him personally. I'll take your word for it that he's been great.
By the way, they've played their first game, yeah? I'm looking at the match page now. So Imperial have played with this roster, with Decenti and with Levy. Yeah. And Levy had a stinker, 0.69. He is an AWPer for the team, by the way. Yeah. Not. It's the first game. Sure, whatever. Decenti farming, 1.22 rating. Cello was doing good. No way, not so good. Vinny IGLing, you know. But I mean, I'm just gonna look at this and think like Decenti versus SHR, you probably would favor Decenti, but maybe they're still one more change away from making something magical happen in here. We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
We don't have massive amounts of info, just I know a few of these guys from the Imperial side personally on that I want to touch on. By the way, I know you probably haven't watched it yet, but I just want to remind all the viewers, there is a recent video on HLTV. They do this for all of the Hall of Famers. They got a Hall of Fame sit-down interview with Olofmeister. It runs for about 30 minutes. Definitely worth watching. You should watch it as well, Devil. You know the guy, right? But epic. I watched that earlier today while I was just chilling, playing some RuneScape. Really good video. These are Mira, by the way, good friend of mine. I've known him. Oh, it's my diabetic alarm. I've known Mira since, I don't know, the 1.6 days. And he is a great journalist. So him doing these things is perfect. Absolutely spot on. I love it. Yep.
The weird thing is when I look at it, I've probably known him for 14 years now.
Yeah. You guys are old. We are all old. Fucking hell, we are really old. That is how it's working. We're the old boys right now.
Yep.
I also want to touch on DraculaN a little bit because we did start covering it. Some of the we obviously I haven't watched much of it. I'm definitely going by scoreboards here. Some of the winners and losers within this. 100 Thieves, definitely a winner. They're guaranteed top 3 right now, which is huge for these guys. They're up to 40th in the world in the Valve ranking.
Yeah. They received a big boost.
Bro, they were 100. They came onto the VRS. It was like 150.
But you remember
something.
when we talked to Mischief in the in the podcast, and we had him as a guest, and this is like the kind of the, I don't know, it's not a problem, but it is kind of the consequence of having it like this. When you start a new team and you start racking up these LAN wins, you just kind of catapult yourself up in the ranking. So it's part of them kind of filling their bucket in terms of LAN wins, which is the easiest bucket to fill in terms of points.
And look at this, by the way. If you look at down 100 Thieves results, so obviously we're recording this on the Friday, the grand finals are tomorrow on the Saturday. They beat some teams. Right? The only team within like their range of VRS is Ents that they lost to, who are 48th. They've gone above Ents now. Yeah. So they may have lost to Ents, and they did lose 2-0, but they beat like Mana, BetClick, Cybershock, Eternal Fire with our boy Rigon on it as well, like the international Eternal Fire. And now they're playing in, Mana have the center. And then we also have, now they're going to play FlyQuest for the 3rd place one. Yeah?
Yeah. So they are top 3 at DraculaN right now.
Yeah. Top 3 guaranteed. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So really, very smart from them, but 100 Thieves are looking good. Who did you said your boy Poi was doing okay, right? He's a Swedish guy.
Yeah. So if you just look at the stats of the players, he's currently 3rd after that match. Before that match concluded, he was 2nd in the list. But he has a 134 rating in 14 maps. So he's played more maps than any other player on the list currently, which is really fucking good as a rifler to have that kind of rating. And, you know, I hyped him up as being one of the biggest talents out of Sweden currently. And he's definitely showing it here at DraculaN. It's good to see. It's good to see that 100 Thieves kind of making this work with these youngsters.
And it's the youngsters that are doing the heavy lifting. It's the rifle core they've got right now who have been the dominant ones. Device, I'm not gonna throw shade at him. He had a rough start, but a 1.10 rating. And range is always going to be reliable, even as an IGL. I didn't think he was going to struggle anyway. So this is what I would call a positive start for 100 Thieves looking at this. Doesn't matter what happens now. Top 3 is solid for your first, your second LAN, but like
more than respectable.
And like looking at the other teams there that are also fighting for all these points, I do think they won't make it obviously to Cologne Major. I don't think that's even possible now, but it does set them up so nicely for the Singapore Major at the end of the year. So that does put them in.
The good thing is that they, weirdly enough, this is a good thing for them that they got knocked out in the first round in the upper bracket, because they've been grinding extra games through the lower bracket instead. So it's been obviously they played the 2 group stage matches, won both, and then they've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and about to take their 6th game in the lower bracket with 1 game in the upper. So we played a lot of Counter-Strike games.
That's a good amount of games. That's a good amount of games, man, for the VRS system and everything.
Exactly what they need. They need to just get as many games and reps in as possible.
It's almost like a smart, like, I'm not saying they lost to go to the lower bracket. No one would ever do that. But I mean, you know, it's a tactical win going through that lower bracket run, bro. They're just dominating throughout.
They probably see it as a good thing now, where they are at now, because they've had a couple of extra games.
I just added one more thing to our document, by the way, is the last bit we can touch on. Playzone announces 4 LANs with $96,000 prize money. The Czech operator will run 2 open events and 2 VRS events in Prague and Brno. Last time Fnatic was in the finals against Ents for it in 2025. But they'll have 4 online qualifiers, including 1 for a local team, before it moves to a LAN final with 12 teams invited via VRS. And it will take place in the Vodafone Playzone Arena in Prague, May 22nd to 24th, with a $35,000 prize pool. Let me just say this, right? For all the people that are hating on the VRS or don't think it's good, this is huge because these smaller TOs are now getting good money and good sponsors because the viewership is not like the same as your PGLs and your Blasts and your Star Ladders or whatever else, right? But it's also positive, the fact that like it's getting a bump up of viewerships compared to it would never be looked at or seen before. Yeah. And big teams are attending. And obviously there's with some, I'm not sure about this event in particular, but a lot of these events, right, are charging $1,000 entry, you know, as well. So this is really rejuvenated the whole scene of local LANs back to when I was competing in 1.6, right? That's what I remember. Yeah. Going to these events, you pay as a team £500 or €500 just to attend, to go play at the PCs and, you know, go through this experience. And it also gives some of the lesser teams this experience to play in it. This is great for our game. This is so positive. This is having a desired effect for me. This is what I want to see.
Yeah. And it also, I mean, makes sure that, I mean, these young teams, these talents, they can, you know, even if you're not sponsored, you have the ability to go to a LAN, open registration, and get in there and play some of the, I don't know what to call it, semi-pro or pro. It's pro teams, but
I guess it's like tier 3 to 2. Yeah, some like obviously the 100 Thieves would be maybe in the category of tier 2 because of the players and the experiences they're having. But yeah, bro, I'm loving this. This is so good.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the route that a lot of young players have to take.
Oh, yes. Now they do. Definitely now they do. Do you know, it's funny how we've kind of gone back in time in some ways? Yeah. You know? Like
in a good way, because
in a good way. Yeah,
because before, I mean, it was like this, right? A couple of years back, there was essentially no LANs. You would be a talent. And tier 1 would look at you and like, okay, he's only played online matches.
Yep.
He hasn't proven himself. Are we ready to gamble on taking in new talent?
Yeah.
And most of the time, that answer would be no. It would be a flat, clear out no, because it's a complete gamble. Now we get to see, yeah, it's a huge risk. Now we get to see these young players kind of build their pedigree, build their kind of, you know, when you apply for a job, what is that called? CV?
CV, yeah.
So kind of build their Counter-Strike CV with having to play on stages, on LANs, with audiences, with other people watching you, and see how you deal with that pressure, which is still one of the biggest skill sets you need to be an absolute top-tier pro player. It has nothing to do with your ability. It is all about mentality.
Oh, dude, and this is it. When you're talking about that LAN environment, I think it's probably, I don't know, I've not been to one of these VRS LANs, right? But it's probably a lot more tame than what it used to be. But man, I was 14, 15 years old going to these LANs, and you've got grown men shouting at each other, shouting at me, screaming, you know, going for. I remember my first DreamHack was 2007 in Jönköping. Didn't win a single game, right? Went there for the experience and then just played practice games the whole time, sat at our PCs, grinding away, just so you can play on LAN and get that feeling. And it was a beautiful experience.
It's also that, but it's also, I mean, I remember one of my first LANs, we actually went up and we played, you know, NIP and all of these guys. Yeah. And after, you know, you can go up and you can talk to these people. You can receive tips. You can, you know.
Yeah. That's how I made a lot of industry connections and friends.
Yeah.
How I met Spawn and Heason.
There's a lot of good stuff with having LANs, and especially now that we're having a lot of experienced players go to these LANs as well at the kind of end mark of their career. I don't want to say end, but you know what I mean. Like it's at least the third of the ending. 1/3 of
Yeah,
your
yeah,
career,
yeah.
and it's the ending part. And they have a lot of stuff that they can offer young players
Yeah,
in terms of experience and tips and tricks, and they'll be happy to help. So
definitely. Definitely.
it's good for the
And
whole kind of industry, or yeah, the whole scene.
I would say as well, that for some of these players, like you mentioned, if they can get in this circle, they can talk to people at the event, make connections, just make a Steam friend or something that can help you later on of getting picked up, people see an up and coming player. And a lot of these players, by the way, especially the more experienced ones, do you remember that story? It was not too long ago about Device with Buzz, just playing Face It with him. And then that's how he got onto Astralis. Little things like that can happen.
Yep.
It's not always, but it's just like making a connection with the right person, meeting the right person. It's it's certainly positive stuff. All right, so let's get on to the main part of what we're doing for this episode. Is EPL Stage 1. I hate EPL. I think it's a trash product, but this is the last time I can say it's a trash product because we are getting the finals at LAN. It's only 8 teams making it, and then the first 2 stages are online. But after this, after EPL 23, it's all on LAN, and then it's going to have the LAN finals, and we're back to the EPL of God mode, which will be all teams want to attend, super positive, great event. So we've gone through a lot of ups and downs of EPL, yeah? From the EPLs, which was all on LAN but no crowd, and then a small crowd, to now this weird one, which is stage 1 and 2 online, with 16 teams in each part, and then an 8-team LAN. This will be the last time where we can probably see a really bad EPL. And it's going to also probably be one where, obviously, we know already Vitality skipped it. Falcons have skipped it as well. But it's going to be the last one where you're going to have some of these results and you go, what the hell is going on? Because the online stage at the same time. So let's go down the team list we have here and how we got some of these players. So Parivision is the highest ranked team in stage 1. They are currently, I think, 4th on the VRS. Yeah, 4th on the VRS.
Stage 2, they would be the 3rd best ranked team.
Yeah, but because these invites were sent out before, they're kind of they qualified through the ECL Season 50 Europe finals. So it's going to be a bit weird for them going through this stage. G2's there, Astralis, FUT, 3D Max, Liquid, Pain, NRG. NRG came through ECL North America, which is like the Challenger League, by the way. Passion UA, which we're going to see Senzu and Triat, Heroic, NIP, Legacy, M80, who won it through the DreamHack Atlanta knockout tournament. Same for Monte, who got it through the Stockholm tournament. ECL South America, Gaming Gladiators, which is Henny, Phelps, Nekis, Lucan, and Jota. Some older names in there. Yeah. And then the interesting one, which is actually the most exciting team from Oceania, which has got 2 Latvian players in it. I think Keen, I don't think it's now, but I think he used to be going out with Heku. That's like them 2 knew each other. You've got Hazza, Keen, Shadi, Addict, and Savage. Savage, obviously, his dad is Ben the Legend. Super behind this team, supporting this team. They've been practicing so much in Europe. So I'm interested to see what they can do. I think they can do some damage potentially of how they play this out online. But let's look down in a bit of detail of each team. So Parivision, we already spoke a lot about. Obviously, huge favorites coming to stage 1. Just a caveat that it's online. G2, definitely a point to prove, but should be pretty smooth here. Would you agree? Like this, I shouldn't be too worried about them facing anyone here.
No, not really. I mean, if they wouldn't go through this without a problem, I'm thinking 3-1, 3-0, that's acceptable. And 3-2 and anything else is kind of not acceptable at all.
Kind of iffy.
I think this is where we'll see if G2 actually has the potential to be one of those teams that we've talked about. If their structure is enough, is Sampaios a good enough offer for this team, etc. So I'm seeing this as, a question answering tournament for G2 in a sense. because this is where they should be a gatekeeper. They should be knocking everyone else out that they face, except
Yep.
for 3 other teams, and that would be Parivision, Astralis, and Foot. I think the
Mm-hmm.
rest of them they should be able to handle. Passion is more of an unknown quantity, so they could be a dark
Yeah.
horse to.
But let's go for each team then, because we're just
Yeah.
talking about G2, so you're skipping ahead way too far.
No.
Astralis online. I think that this should be them just building upon what we've seen, being close to playoffs each time, continue to making their way forward. I'm expecting maybe your Jabby and Stare not liking online as much, maybe a bit for Hooksy, but the Fozy and Ryu side of things, no problem.
Yeah, the problem with Astralis is consistency. We've seen them be
Mm-hmm.
great, and we also seen them kind of not even show up on the server. So hopefully
Yeah.
they can do that even in an online stage. But that's my worry for them.
Foot, I feel like online, offline, it doesn't really matter. This is a team that 100% should be making it through to the next stage. This would be a team I expect to be with a chance of making it to playoffs, especially considering it is online. They do play. They do now play LAN. They do understand how it works, but I would like to see them thrive in this situation, take advantage of it.
Yep, I completely agree.
3D Max gets interesting, by the way, because we didn't talk about this actually in the news, but 3D Max have gone through some changes, so we can kind of incorporate this all together. So
Yeah,
3D Max, they removed Body, and they removed who was, I think, the analyst, if I'm correct.
the main
He was
coach
assistant coach.
Or
Yeah, okay, he was the main coach then. So that means they brought, Wazink's come
Wazink
back.
was assistant coach.
Yeah.
I think.
No, Wazink was coach back in the day. Then he went to Gen 1. Now he's back.
Okay, that's how it is.
Yeah, because he was definitely there at main events. Is now gone. So they didn't just do this, right? We spoke about when Gravity did that interview with me at PGL, and he said about experience. Well, guess what? You brought Masuta. Obviously, if people don't remember, it's actually quite a while ago. Back in the day, this guy was on Vitality and Falcons in 2020. He had 2 years on Vitality during that online period. He's got experience, so he's bringing that side. They removed Body, who was the most experienced player up until that point. I think Masuta and Body, you could probably say Body has a bit more experience, but Masuta is younger, still only 23. Wazink's coming back, which obviously was a coach they removed, but then they've come into it. And NBK is finally not playing. He's made the move from trying to get it working with that Gen 1 team, which is supposed to be the interesting French team, and now he will be the assistant coach of 3D Max. I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how well he does, how much he enjoys it, if we see a level up from him to become like the main coach, because his experience, that is exactly what you need. But it depends on how he is as a coach. Not everyone can go and do it.
No, but I think he definitely has the experience and can add a layer to exactly what we was talking about in the last episode. Kind of the lack of adjustment and understanding what is actually good with their style and how they can abuse it and kind of shift up their style so they have 2 different ways of playing depending on how the opponent adapts. So I think he will be able to bring that kind of level to them. He's a very, very smart, sociable guy.
Yep.
Always been, intelligent on the server. So I think it's great. Great addition for 3D Max. In terms of Misuta, I just think that Body kind of never really stepped up to be that extra player with star potential, which I felt was kind of a must in this lineup. If I looked at anyone except for Maka, I didn't look at Luck, Exorcise, or Gravity because he was holding the in-game leader role as well. To bring that extra firepower, to bring that extra X factor, I was kind of looking at Body. But Masuta, he is definitely a hit or miss signing. He's either going to bring you that, or he's going to be a major disappointment. But I think it shows that 3D Max, they're willing to gamble, they're willing to try, they're not willing to let kind of the the ship sink, not sink.
There
ship.
we go.
Yeah. Before it's too late. So it might be a little bit of a gamble for this major run, but I think that it could be worth a try. I'm not negative to the changes.
And you know what? I would just say this. Even though we're so down and out on 3D Max, I do have a feeling that this little change in the background staff and having Masuta can give them a buff, at least in this first stage, to go through, not comfortably, but like get through to the second stage, you know? Put themselves to where they should be, at least within this first part. That's how I could see it.
Yeah, it's possible.
From there, we get to look at Liquid again, who obviously last played at Krakow. We don't understand yet, there's no information, but we don't understand if Naf is back. Obviously, he had some personal problems he needed to deal with. But when they had Crimbo stepping in for him, they did a good enough job to at least take down NIP, lost to G2 across 3 maps, then lost to Foot. They didn't tag so many points, you know, which is going to help them. But I don't know. I feel like on online for players like Naf and Elige, like this is not a team that I can imagine thriving online. And I hope they go to that bootcamp facility they've got from Liquid and they just grind so hard ahead of this. I hope this is everyone together, no one down and out of it, everyone ready to bring their A game to it, because it could be a long couple of weeks for them playing this.
I mean, every single tournament that Liquid is currently invited to or attending is actually incredibly important that they don't flunk out. If they go like 0-3 here, they might lose all their invite potential because they're at that stage where rank 21, we looked at, you know, BC Game, who were ranked 25 in the past and got the last invite. So they're just in that threshold. If all the teams actually start accepting that they might not get an invite, right?
Yeah.
So
and also you got to remember,
them,
there's not good VRS points here with the online.
No,
like,
but it still matters. If they would go out, lose to, you know, Gaming Gladiators or SemperFi, even to some degree like a Passions and Pain, it would tank them enough because it's so tight in that space.
Yeah, it's not much distance between him. But you mentioned Pain, so we can go straight on to them. Pain, I don't know, man. They have to deliver. They've been in Europe this whole time. They didn't go back home. I know that for a fact. I spoke to Bigazera. This needs to be them showing up and showing some development, because Cluj was embarrassing. Krakow wasn't pretty. Blast Bounty was meh.
Sure,
you lost to a team for standing.
Embarrassment. They lost to Mongols, Aurora, and G2.
Okay, they had a tough run, but I mean, I'm not seeing, because we spoke about this last episode, right? We gave them the pass because of who they're facing. But the more I think about this, I still hold them to what we saw in Austin, to the point where
that is just unrealistic, Banks.
I know, but I'm just going to say it's an embarrassment, the fact that they're dropping down so far, that this is not just a must. This is like no more changing your roles and positions. This is where you must be comfortable. You had 3 events of these changes now. Like, the excuses run dry.
I agree that excuses are running dry, but I think when this team was assembled, I said that we're probably not going to see them at their best until around a 3-month mark. We're getting to that point now. They might have a few days extra.
They've been in Europe the whole time.
It does not matter how hard they're working. That doesn't negate.
Yeah.
It just means they're working hard, man.
I bloody hope so.
I still think in this element of teams, they should be doing reasonably well. I could definitely see them qualifying to the next stage. But for this roster right now, it's all about getting confidence by getting wins. Because I think, you know, they played 1 good map so far. They just need to expand their map pool and not only have Nuke.
Next team, NRG. Obviously, you mentioned it. They're 17th on the Valve rankings right now. This is a great position for them. This should be the debut for Grim as well. It's not announced as of just yet, but it should be the debut. So it should be no George from what you said and Grim in. This should be an upgrade to them, especially they were on the rise. They also qualified for Blast Rotterdam, beating Passion UA. So Grim's getting a free road there. They play Falcons in the opening game for that Blast Open Rotterdam. And they're playing Heroic for the opening game. NRG?
Yeah, like, okay. So, like,
best team in America?
Yeah, but in this list of teams, right? From Parivision to SemperFi, in what placing would you rank them as, like... So personally, I would probably put them as the 5th best team in this whole place.
Oh, wow. Or I want to be clear. I said best team in America. I mean, like, North America in particular. They're not better than Furia, obviously. Just to be very clear. Yeah. Someone will twig that on the comments.
Might be some Caralho combos.
Yeah, that'll be fuck banks moments for sure.
So where would you put them?
Within these 16 teams we're looking at now for EPL?
Exactly.
I would put them above Liquid and above Pain with a potential to be above 3D Max. So 5, 6, similar to you.
All right.
Yeah, but then also they could on any given day lose to a Passion or a NIP, depending on which NIP decides to show up. You know? There's some give or take.
That's more about NIP. I think NRG looks really strong.
Yeah. So from NRG, we go to Passion UA. Now, Passion UA did play at the Roman Imperial Cup 5, but they played with Grim still. Senzu wasn't there. Try was there. Overall, when you look at how well they did as a team, it wasn't that impressive, but obviously they were still going through changes. So this is the first real debut for them. Kavem and Try were the highest rated players at the time. For me, this is where now JT needs to show us you've got some good players to work with. Kavem, Senzu, Try, all very experienced, good players. You guys can still play within America's qualifiers because you've got Nix, Try, and JT. Yeah. So everything is still in Passion UA's favor for the major, for grinding points and showing themselves. But I want to see them. I don't need to see 3-1, 3-2. I just need to see them go through to the next stage. Like, this is to me is like a must show, considering you've got Senzu. And obviously his English is not the best, but I mean, I want to see some positive movement from these guys on this.
I think that they will turn out good. I'm not sure because I think one thing is adding, a player like, imagine they added Quem, right? He'd never played in an English-speaking team before.
Yep.
He joins.
No, I think he had. He had played on an English-speaking team.
I'm not sure he did.
No? Let's see.
I'm pretty sure
Drillis was English-speaking. Ikla was English-speaking.
Okay, but either way, it was still a big kind of change for him.
Yeah.
And he needed to kind of get his legs warm, get into the groove of things, because things were very, very different playing with this core for him. Now they're adding Try, they're adding Senzu. It's also a first for Senzu we have to put in. And for Try, has he played in any English-speaking teams in the past?
No, I don't think so. He's always been the one pushed out for interviews, but he's always played, 9Z, 00 Nation, 9Z, Imperial, and now Passion. So it's his first one. But his English is very good. Very good.
Yeah. But I still think that no matter what, if your English is good or not, there's a cultural difference. We're talking, Argentina, Mongolia, America, South Africa, Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's a big culture shock to be in a team. I've been in similar situations where there are things that you don't really realize that you have to figure out together. That some people, just like tone of voice sometimes, like can be, oh, why are you aggressive towards me when you're in this kind of fast pace? But they're just, I don't know, in my situation, he was just Balkan.
Yeah.
So it's like, these things they need to kind of get over and learn about each other. And I think that takes time. And it is a challenge that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got high hopes for them. But I've also got higher expectations. And then for a team...
too early.
Too early? Okay. But for this stage, not too early. This stage they should go through.
Okay, so let's just think about this, Banks.
Okay.
How many days of practice do you think that they've had? First of all, they might have joined the team before they've even set foot on a server together because of where they come from.
True.
I'm thinking maybe they've had 6 to 7 days for practice.
Okay.
6, 7.
So it's not a lot. It's not great. It's not positive for them.
No, and I think that is going to, in best of 3 scenarios, they're probably really good on 1 or maybe 2 maps and pretty shaky on the others. So I think it's a bit too early, but we'll see. I hope they can make it through. I still kind of expect them to make it through just because of the individual brilliance they brought in.
Yep.
But expectations aren't like sky high.
Okay. I have just a little bit higher expectations just because of the names they've got. That was just my bias to it. But you're making sense on what you're saying about practice. A team I've got 0 expectations from is Heroic because they're playing at DraculaN right now. They are in the final over FlyQuest. They're doing this still with no Alcaraz there because of the whole visa situation. So probably he's not good. Well, actually, he could play because it's online. But then if they make it to this is weird for them, right? You can play finally with your full 5, but you've not played all year with your full 5 at many events. So you're a coach, Devilwalk. What would you do? You can play with Alcaraz in this situation. You're definitely not as teams capable enough of going to the playoffs. What call do you make if your Toby is the coach?
I would not play with Alcaraz.
Unless you got that visa, you're not playing with Alcaraz, right? I agree. So they're just... They've done well at DraculaN. I'm not going to knock what they've done. Let's look at the teams they beat are low standard. Infinite, Astral, Cyberchoke, FlyQuest. They've had an upper bracket run. They've been doing very well. But like, they struggled at Cluj. They only beat 3D Max. They struggled at Krakow. They did okay getting to the LAN finals off the hype of only beating Friendly Campers and Pain for Blast Bounty. But you're so limited. And your whole team's mindset is, I don't know what's happening. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what's going to happen at the next event. Like, everything's screwed. I feel bad for the players, by the way. This is an organizational problem. And it's just terrible. But my expectations are you won't even make it through this online stage.
I want to see where actually Youngstar how he's been performing at LAN. So he's had a 117 rating with a 133 KD with the AWP.
Yep.
Let's see here. His sniping is still pretty subpar, especially on T side. He has 0.02 AWP kills per round.
That's kind of tough.
Side. On CT side, it's pretty decent. Like, it's decent on CT, but I think that's not the hard side to AWP. You're gonna need his presence on the T side. That's where the skill of an AWPer actually shines through.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe T side they're opting to go a little bit more like a 5 rifle kind of deal, which does limit.
Which makes sense.
The threat of them a little bit. But CT side open looks great. T side non-existent.
Kind of tough, huh? Kind of tough.
Yeah.
They're in a rock and a hard place. I don't want to waste too much time talking about them. NIP, oh boy, we were so positive around them. Like, we were so positive. They made it to Blast Rotterdam on the online qualifiers. Didn't do great at Krakow, even got eliminated by BC Game. Lost 2-1 to Liquid at Blast Bounty. They did win that Roman Imperial Cup like at the end of 2025, but I don't know, man. This is a coin flip team right now, surely. Since Cairns come in, it's not delivered to the hype of what we expected. They didn't even attend DraculaN. They're down in the VRS dumps again. They're on 27th rank. Like, they are struggling.
Yeah. I don't know which NIP is going to show up. I mean, I feel like you could always rely on X Kaspersky to deliver,
Yep.
good performances, sometimes almost outlandish performances.
Yep.
But sometimes I look at them and it just seems like they would almost win more rounds if they didn't call anything at all. I'm talking very specifically Nuke, um, which is their home map. It's a bit hit and miss at the moment. But looking, I don't know where to put them. I hope they've figured things out. I see a lot of potential in this lineup, in this team. But they should be 10 ranks above what they are. They should be around 17. They should be there with NRG. They should be there with the Liquids and 3D Maxes.
Yep.
They shouldn't be where they are right
now. Let's see how they can do. I think this is a team that minimum they can be expecting is to go to stage 2 and be competitive. Anything else is a failure.
I would say so, yes. But at the same time...
Oh, of course you got some at the same time. I thought you were going to agree with me, bro.
I agree with you, but I'm worried when I look down this list, right? And I look at the teams that they could lose against. I sincerely think that they could lose against M80.
Anyone?
They could lose against Monte. I think they could lose against Legacy on a good day, Heroic, Passion, NRG, Pain, Liquid, 3D Max, Foot, G2, Parivision, Astralis. If I look at other teams, that's not as massive of a list. It actually puts them for me just because of how many times they can be in good positions, kind of throw their games away.
Yep.
That to me does not look good. Like, that's not a great intro to NIP making the next stage.
It's not positive at all. It's not positive. Oh, man. I don't know. We'll see. A legacy from here. This is legacy with changes. Obviously, we were shocked when they made the IGL change. They brought Art in. Lux went out. Kind of rough spot to be in. If I'm right, they've not played a single game with Art, right? The last one was EPL, where Lux's last event. Yep.
Nope.
And then he got removed. So this is the first time for Legacy Art. I'm hoping they've been to Europe, boot camped, and played a ton to get comfortable with him. And obviously, it's going to be such a different style of IGL. I think it could be a faster play style that will suit some of the players, like a Damao, like a Lato. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And it's a very scary opening matchup for NIP. Because these guys are momentum driven to the... If there was a bar from 0 to 100, Legacy is definitely on the 100 in momentum.
And even if they don't start at 100, they can go from 0 to 100 quicker than any other team. Yeah. It could be one round and you go... It could be midway through a round, they're doing something that looks like a default, and Art says, no, wait, go here, and everyone's gone.
So
I can imagine they'll follow his lead, by the way. They will respect him and just go this direction.
I could see this game being like NIP up 10-2, lose 13-10.
Ooh. Yeah, no, in nip fashion, it would go to overtime, then they would lose.
Okay.
That's been the kicker for them. Remember how they've lost every overtime game possible. So I think not much is going to change other than the style from Legacy. And I just think that yes, Art's a more experienced leader, but he won't have the same output of what Lux had in those clutches and those moments. I don't think that doesn't work in Art's way. But he will be a bit more sacrificial to see the other players benefit from that. So maybe that works in their favor,
Yep, we'll see how it goes. Excited to see them. Want to see them back at their best. It was a fun team to watch.
From here, we're going to M80. They find themselves doing well within North America. They've been doing well since Jaber's joined the team as well. I would say Jaber's not been, I don't know. He's not the same Jaber we saw back in, what do you call it before? Wildcard, just yet. Yep. But I feel like we all know his potential. Surprisingly enough, I thought they'd be one of the favorites to qualify for that Rotterdam spot. They ended in 3rd to 4th. NRG's the team that took the spot. They lost to Passion UA in that one. So they're in a weird situation where they've got a bit of grinding to do again, you know? Because they're 28th in VRS right now, despite having what I would consider a positive major for these guys. So there's a point to prove within this one. Their year's not started off probably as they would have wanted.
No. And I'm just looking really quick because it looks like they've made some positional changes for JBA as well. Since Hext was B anchor on Mirage, Sin is now B anchor, and JBA is A anchor. I just made a quick look. I just wanted to see what positions.
Okay, so there's been some changes for them to get used to it all. Yeah. I feel like it's a team that has upset potential. Then I need to show it again of how good they can be.
Yeah, for me, they're a LAN team. They're going on vibes.
Yeah.
They love competing. I think they're a scary opponent for being one of the lower ranked teams in this kind of stage. I still consider them to be quite scary to go up against. True.
Next team, a team that we were very positive to start off the year with, Monte. They did win the Copenhagen Gaming Showdown. Didn't have too much competition there. It was just Tricked, I Will, Ecstatic. But they did lift the trophy. At Roman Imperial Cup, they did lose to Fnatic in the end. It eliminated them in the playoffs, but they beat Nip and Bestia. I heard some rumors that like teams are already talking and looking at Gizme. I can't say which teams because I can't leak that information right now. But there were some rumors that Gizme was someone people are already looking at as this British IGL, young 22-year-old guy. See what he could do there because he came off so well. But I feel like this is a team that's on the rise. This is a team that we can look at positively. 19th in the VRS rankings right now. This could do some wonders for them. I think many people won't expect them to go through to stage 2, but I have them on my mind that they could make it.
Weirdly enough, I almost know almost anything about Monte, even though they're ranked 19th in the world. I know very little about it. I'm obviously checking the results right now. They've beat, the likes of Foot in the past. They have some good, consistent results. Last 3 months, they have an 84.6% win rate, so they're definitely a scary team to go up against. Rainwaker's been in the team for 17 days, replacing Rio.
It's a big shoes they had to fill for that.
Yeah.
Not easy. Not easy at all.
Interesting team. I'm looking forward to watching them because I haven't watched them myself yet.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited about what they can do. I'm very excited to see how well they can perform here. Gaming Gladiators next from Brazil. Obviously with the Argentinian LAN in there as well. Jota, Nekis, Phelps, Henny, all names we've heard about before. Bit of an older team. The average age is 29.4.
Oh my God.
Henny is 30. Phelps is 29, despite how long we've been talking about him. Nekis is 30. LAN is 28. And Jota might be the youngest, I'm guessing. No, he's also 28. Dude, this is like an old boys squad, last hurrah, repping game. By the way, Gaming Gladiators have made mess up as an organization.
You want to know something funny?
Yeah, go for it.
The youngest person in their team is their coach.
How old's the coach?
27.
Look at him go. He's living the dream right now. So let me just tell you this, right? They had a team which was it the Danish team? Yeah, they had the Danish team in 2024. Yeah, that was the old Ecstatic. They paid money for the Ecstatic team. They bought them out. You know, Kragan and all those guys.
I think
off the back of maybe the major.
Have I been in Gaming Gladiators in the past?
And then they've gone into, because they have success in Dota, by the way. It's quite a big Dota organization, as far as I'm aware. And at one point they had SHZ. Yeah, so they part ways with SHZ. And they acquire Henny from Red Canids. So it's like they just wanted the oldest team possible. I don't know what money they're sinking into this or what they think they're going to achieve here. But I mean, I've not seen them. I can't comment on them. They did okay at this Circuit X Redemption. They came second place. They're just playing a lot of qualifiers and events.
Yeah.
They obviously got the EPL spot, but it was only them, Bestia and 9Z playing in it. I don't know, man. There's a lot of experience. That's what I can say. There's a lot of experience on this team. Who's their opening game? G2. Yeah, I don't know. Good luck. Good luck. Yeah, let's leave it at that. And then the last team is SemperFi. They're playing a lot. They're grinding. They're trying their best. It's 3 Oceania players, Australia, for 1 New Zealand, and then another Australia, and 2 Latvians. They've been grinding for a while. I'm positive about what they can deliver as a team. They are grinding Europe as hard as possible as well. They are sacrificing. Savage makes a lot of YouTube content as well. Obviously, like I said, his dad's already been super supportive about him. Ben the Legend, shout out one time. Actually, I'm sad. I was supposed to meet Ben when it came to the HLTV Awards, but obviously I didn't end up going.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to see him again. But his Twitter bio is literally proud dad of pro CSGO player Savage CS. So having a supportive dad, having a guy who's that enthusiastic about everything and that awesome, I love. I'm really positive around it, man.
I
hope they can do some damage.
I don't see much hope for this team in this tournament, even though
tough.
It's online. I've
got personal bias.
Yeah, and the wins they have, I'm not impressed. The losses they have makes me less impressed.
Yeah.
Could be cool, but
they're starting against Parivision.
You know, like I just look at the results. They play a Swedish mixed team. They lost.
The little mixed team, right?
Yeah, Migo Short. I think it's a mixed team. Swedish one with Robin, Nock.
Migo Short. What a name. That's a future mixed team name that I'm going to steal. Migo Short.
They lost to them twice. They lost to Johnny Speeds 13-2 recently. It's... yeah.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. So let's do our matchup predictions, mate. Let's see what we're going to think of how these opening matchups are going to do, and then we'll do our 8 teams that will make it through to Stage 2. Just to tell everyone, we won't be covering Stage 2, but there's only a 1-day break in between. It never makes sense for us because no one comes to watch the video by the time we can get it out. It's invaluable. So we'll next do one before playoffs. Stage 2 teams are right now Furia, Mouse, Spirit, Aurora, Navi, Mongols, FaZe, and Bait. Obviously, a lot of teams choosing to skip this event. Falcons, Vitality, for example, because it is online. It's not worth it for a lot of teams. And also, even the prize money's not great. Boom. That's that time. The Devil goes to make his predictions. So let's do our opening games then. So we have Heroic versus NRG. I'm picking NRG, man.
100% NRG.
NRG, cool. Parivision, SemperFi.
Well, Parivision.
You can pick Parivision. I'm going to pick SemperFi. Parivision are the favorites, but they've had these highs of all this LAN and stuff. Then they come back to online, bit of brain fog maybe. Maybe they took a few more days off. Dastan doesn't let them take days off. I'm just coping so hard right now. But either way, I'm going to choose SemperFi just to give them some love. That's my pick. That's why I'm going for it.
There's been some storms in Portugal. Have you been caught in one?
Did I get zapped in the head by some... Maybe. I haven't been outside enough. G2 Gaming Gladiators. G2. Astralis Monte.
Astralis?
I'm going to take Monte. Believe in the Gizmy. I believe in the Gizmy power.
I can't, for the life of me, predict Monte without watching them once.
Yeah, that's fair. Astralis are favourites in that. NIP Legacy. Ooh, okay. I'm going to go NIP.
I've done a Swiss simulator here, by the way.
Oh, look at you. Trying to cook. FUT M80. FUT. Liquid Passion UA.
I'm
taking Passion. Yeah, I'm taking Passion. Hell yeah. 3D Max, Pain.
I picked Pain.
I'm picking Pain as well. Okay. So you've actually. So I'm not going to do the simulator. Or do you want? Should we do the simulator and get it? Shall I do the simulator and add it up?
I mean, I'll do it. I'll take a screenshot of it, and we can just
I'm going to do the same.
Add it to the video. I will tell you that my 0-3 picks are Gaming, Gladiators, and SemperFi. I can tell you that my 3-1s are Astralis, G2, and NRG with Parivision Foot 3-0. My 1-3 are Heroic, NIP, and Monte. Just because I don't know enough about Monte.
You don't know about Monte? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, you want mine? My 0-3 is SemperFi and Heroic. My 3-0 is Passion UA and Foot. My 3-1 is NRG G2 Astralis. My 3-2 is NIP Monte Passion UA. Mine is complete madness. Like, mine is not normal. Mine doesn't make any sense. All right, so with that, right, that's just our simulation. But let's give also our 8 teams we think are going to make it through to end the podcast. So the 8 teams I think are going to make it through, not based on my simulation, because the simulation can change any result, yeah? So my logical 8 is Parivision, G2, Astralis, Foot. This is where it gets harder. NRG, Passion, Monte, and Liquid. I counted.
Okay, I will take at least my 5 first.
Okay.
So I'll take Parivision, Foot, Astralis, G2, NRG.
Yep.
And I think I'll gamble on a Legacy, M80, and Liquid.
Okay. That's fair. All right. Well, there is our ESL Pro League online stage 1 of season 23. Predictions, preview, all our thoughts on it. There's nothing else for this episode. Stage 2, we won't be able to do anything because the turnaround is so quickly. But stage 2 does end on the 10th of March, and then the next final starts on the 13th of March. So we will film on the 10th of March really quickly. The only thing that could stop that is if my baby comes along. Then if the baby comes, we would actually skip an episode for the first time ever that we have never done.
Excuse me?
We have covered every big event. I joined a film from the hospital ward.
Yeah.
So Devilwalk, I'm here, dialed in on my...
Wait. Quick pause.
My wife might kill me. My wife... Baby's coming out. Oh, there we go. That would be the most viewed episode of the podcast ever.
I mean, the lighting is apparently good in these hospital rooms.
Maybe I could talk to her. Maybe there's something... No, she'd actually kill me. Imagine her experience of having her first child, and it would be me doing a podcast at the same time with you on the back the whole time.
Like, little bit quieter. Mike's picking it up.
Stop shouting. Can you push a little bit quieter, please? Yeah. I know you're in pain, but we're trying to film an episode of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. Oh, it'd be so fucked. It would be horrible. Yeah. Oh. All right. Any closing thoughts, mate?
Closing thoughts, always the hardest question.
Start preparing this before. You can't screw this up every time.
But I'm doing some magic in the background, trying to,
Magic in the background. You clown.
Okay. Well, I'll put on my serious face and say thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe, comment. We'd like to answer, watch the comments and all of that. And also, do not forget to, if you're the person that haven't received the knife yet, please email us. It will very soon be up for grabs for other people. Other than that, join our Discord. You're going to have a link below. You can ask any questions, and we will answer them on the podcast at the end of every episode. So please do join the podcast. You can also tag us, ask questions there, and have a chat with us. That's all good. And hope you enjoy your day.
There we go. Thank you very much for watching. This was episode 52 of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. See you on the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. See you soon.